Namaste. Think about the last time someone deeply betrayed you, scammed you, or treated you like a absolute garbage. What did your mind do within those first 10 seconds? If you are like 99% of the same population, you immediately put on a Supreme Court judge robe. You slammed mental gavel down, sentenced them as a evil person, and maybe even launched a silent, bitter, bad prayers into this universe, hoping that karma would hit them like a freight train. But what if every single time you choose to play the angry judge, you are fundamentally breaking the rules of the reality you live in? What if you are completely failing a test you forgot you signed up for? What if planet Earth is not a courtroom where we are all standing trial, but a highly advanced, customized spiritual academy? Welcome to the Earth School Protocol. When you shift your perspective from being a judge to being a student, your internal matrix completely rewrite itself. You stop sending a bad prayers to those who wrong you because you realize they are not executioner. They are just your exam papers. Today, we are putting a fuzzy philosophy aside and dividing into a peer reviewed medical data to prove why this planet is actually a cosmic classroom engineered for the rapid evolution of your soul. If you peel back the layer of dogma, almost every major spiritual field and the theological framework across a human history has pointed to this exact same baseline infrastructure. They just gave it a localized branding to survive their specific historical eras. So let's trace the data. First, Hinduism and Buddhism conceptualized as a samsara, the cycle of birth and death, which is strictly regulated by the law of karma. In popular Western media, karma is misunderstood as a system of cosmic revenge or a punishment. Actually, it is not. In academic Eastern theology, karma is a pedagogical tool, a teaching system. If you fail a specific module, like overcoming a greed or learning a patience, the system simply recycles the lesson, presenting it to the brand new body with a brand new face until your soul masters the material. Let's see a Jewish mysticism like Kabbalah call this framework a tikkun, meaning rectification, alongside a gilgul, the cycling of a soul. Kabbalist teaches that your soul actually codes its baseline material condition before incarnating. Your difficult family, your genetic illnesses, and your specific systemic struggles are not a cosmic error. They are the exact mathematical friction your soul, your unique soul, requires to grind down its specific spiritual flows. Third, even in early Christian theology, famously introduced the phrase the well of soul making. Thinkers like John Hick argued that a perfectly benevolent creator would never design a comfortable, hedonistic paradise for a human flesh. But why? Because you cannot forge a courage without a real danger. You cannot build a true forgiveness without experiencing a real betrayal. Earth was intentionally engineered to be a difficult because comfort cannot grow a soul. Friction is the fundamental requirement. But let's step out to the historical theology and walk straight into the university research laboratory. If Earth is a school, what happens when student clinically dies during an exam? For over 45 years, Dr. Bruce Grayones, Professor Emeritus of Psychiatric at University of Virginia School of Medicine, has spearheaded a rigorous objective research into a near-death experiences (NDEs) to strip out a cultural biases and hallucination. His team developed a Grayson's NDE scale, highly validated 16-point psychological diagnostic instrument. When patient suffers a massive cardiac arrest, an EEG monitor shows a flat line, meaning zero electrical cortical activity in the brain. Modern neuroscience states that consciousness should be impossible, yet thousands of these resuscitation patients return with a highly structured, hyperlinear memories. The crown jewel of this account is an event known as a panoramic life review. But there is a structural details that completely shattered mainstream materialism. It is not a passive video playback. NDE survivor described experiencing their entire life history simultaneously, but from the emotional and cognitive perspective of every person they ever interacted with. If they yelled at subordinate at a work or broke a partner's heart, they felt the exact raw, burning, physiological pain of the subordinate or a life partner echoing inside their own dismayed consciousness. Conversely, if they performed a small, entirely unrecorded act of kindness for a stranger, they felt the stranger's sudden chemical drop in anxiety and wave of warmth. Crucially, survivor emphasized that during this review, there is no angry deity pointing a finger or sentencing them to eternal torment. The presiding presence is one of the absolute, mathematically neutrality and deep, unconditional love. The judgment is entirely a self administered based on one single metric. Did you learn how to choose love over a fear under a heavy pressure? They wake up in the ICU with a completely rewritten operating system. They realize life is an educational curriculum. Let this reality heal something deep inside you right now. If the life review is entirely a self administered and wrapped in unconditional love, it means the universe is not holding a grudge against you. Many of us carry crushing, silent guilt over our past failure, a failed marriage, a bankrupt business, or a words we wish we could take back. We feel like we have permanently ruined our life. But Earth School doesn't damn you for making a mistake. It simply schedules a retake. There are no F grades in this academy, grades of failure, only incomplete. The moment you recognize your mistake, stop running from it. Choose a compassion or a boundaries today. Your old karma clears. Forgiveness is not about erasing the past, it is realizing the past was just a textbook module you have finally finished reading. You are not a bad person. You are just a student who needed a second try at a highly difficult math problem. Now, this raises a massive psychological question that trip up almost every single deep thinker. If Earth is a school meant for a soul growth, why wiping our memories at birth would not be vastly more efficient if we walked into this life remembering all our past lives and our mistakes? The answer lies in the psychological architecture of what mystics call the amnesia clause. The memory wipe is not a bug, it is a strict functional requirement of testing a facility. Think about it through the two clear lenses. First one, a paralysis of trauma. If you entered your current life carrying a raw, unpoliced memory of multiple past violent deaths, alongside the grief of living behind a dozens of past families, the sheer cognitive and emotional load would completely paralyze your developing infant brain. You would be too busy mourning a old life to live the current one. Second, the clean slate protocol. Imagine walking into a high level university chemistry exam, but you are allowed to hold the open textbook and answer keys right in front of your face. Does that test actually measure your true integration of that knowledge? No. For choices to have a genuine moral and spiritual weight, they must be made in the dark. You must choose kindness, courage, and boundaries when it actually hurts. And when you have no conscience, guarantee of a cosmic reward, forgetting who you are is only the way to prove who you actually are when the lights go out. Let's be completely clear. If you don't believe in any of this, that is absolutely fine. There is zero hate here for the skeptics. Science is built on a continuous doubt and questioning. But look at the profound psychological benefit of adopting a Earth School framework as a mental tool. When someone treats you terribly, an untrained judge absorbs that poison, secretes cortisol, elevate their blood pressure, and ruin their own mental peace. But a student take a deep breath, step out of emotional courtroom and say, "Ah, I see what this is. This is an advanced pop quiz on emotional sovereignty. Let me pass this test so I don't have to keep retaking it." The moment you look at the life through the lens of student, you reclaim 100% of your power. You stop wishing bad things on others because you realize everyone is just a drowning in their own customized, highly difficult subsyllabus. But if the amnesia clause is universal law, why do certain young children manage to cross the threshold of birth with their previous textbook completely open? In our next episode, we are looking at the startling medical case files of a toddlers who accurately remembered their past birth and a quantum mechanism behind how the human brain actually processes the memory of the soul. Hit subscribe button, leave a comment with the toughest lesson of our school has handed you in this year, and I'll see you in the next classroom. Stay peace, stay zen.